All right, so we'll begin this way. So just sit in such a way. So Lizzie, it looks like you're pretty comfortable on the floor, just how you're sitting. So you can stay on the floor. I'm sitting in a chair right now just because of the position that we're in. And I want to show you some things with the hands. So I'll be a little closer. So just sit in a way, you can do this exercise in a chair or however, just do it in a way so that your spine is a little bit uplifted. So this you can sort of feel with the hands on the low back a little bit what the back is doing. If the pelvis is tipped under because the hips are a little tight, if we're sitting on the floor, you can, if you put a cushion under your hips or sit up a little bit, you can get this sort of nice sensation in the back. And then what you're doing is you're sort of letting gravity pull the weight of your body through the spine instead of having to use your muscles to hold yourself upright. So that's what this relationship with the pelvis and back is when we do sitting. So this is like the kind of sitting we do when we do breathing practices. And right now I have my feet flat on the floor. I'm sort of, in the front of the chair, not leaning back. And this gives me that freedom to find sort of the balance point in my spine. And so with that, we're just going to take 12 breaths, but we're going to introduce the breathing first, and then I'm going to introduce a simple mantra. So the way we're going to keep track of the breath and keep our attention focused is by taking the tip of the thumb and putting it at the start of the index finger. And the movement is really simple. Inhale, slide the finger to the tip. Exhale back. And you can rest the hands down. You don't have to hold them up. This is just so you guys can see it. So inhale up. Exhale back. If you're the kind of person who sort of holds the teeth a little bit, you can exhale through the lips. That might help the jaw relax. So inhale up. Exhale. It's perfectly normal to start yawning when we do this breathing. Like that's a normal thing at the beginning. So we do 3 times on the first finger, and then we move to the middle finger. Inhale up. Exhale. So just try that 2 more times on the middle finger. Then to the ring finger, 3 times. And you can feel here, so the first part of this is just to feel the breath, feel the movement of the tip of the thumb all the way across the finger and back down. So like a sensation of a little massage on the finger. So the mind feels the breath and the mind is feeling the sensation at the fingers. After 3 times, you'll go to the little finger, 3 times up and down. So this is a simple technique. Some of it is founded, as Lotta probably knows, the fingers and fingertips are really important spots when we think about the esoteric anatomy. So like the Chinese system of acupuncture, the Indian system also has this idea of meridians and energy flows. And a lot of these meridians begin at the fingertips. So a lot of the things like mudra and stuff that you see in yoga has to do with that. So this is activating a little bit these energy channels in the fingers, and it's giving your mind a place to stay. So the beginning of meditation is just to put your mind somewhere. So you feel the breath, you feel the fingers, and now we'll bring a mantra. The mantra is very simple. Inhale, peace. Exhale, trust. And so these 2 words have a deeper meaning. So when we inhale, this idea of peace is that in any given moment, most of us, if we're fortunate, have the capacity to experience peace. So there are the rare moments of true trauma where that's not an option. We move through those. Many times this sensation of stress, of fear, is something that's happening very much in here as a reaction to what's happening in the world. But if we take a moment, this inhale is a moment just to honor the capacity for peace that we have at any given moment. And as we exhale, trust, it's a little bit of a sensation of sort of humility or surrender, that we have a little bit of faith that as we move through life, we'll have many more moments with the capacity for peace. Okay. So we're going to do this exercise again, but now instead of inhale, exhale, you begin with the index finger. Inhale, peace. Exhale, trust. Peace, trust. And you can just say these words in your own mind. You don't have to say them aloud. Peace, trust. 3 times the middle finger. Trust. Peace. Trust. Continue following the mantra. If you find the desire to create a little space between peace and trust, just pausing the breath, you can let that happen as long as it feels comfortable. As you finish the 3 times in the middle finger, move to the ring finger. 3 breaths. Peace and trust. Peace and trust. So now your mind notices the flow of breath, notices the sensation of the fingertips, the thumb tip on the fingers, and it stays anchored in this idea of peace for this moment and trust for what comes. And then just sit for a moment. And notice, if you can sit for a moment, just notice sensations in your body like we do at the beginning of each class. Notice the quality of your emotions and your thoughts. So whatever comes, let it come. Find the breath. And so we begin in this state now with a little bit of a practice towards peace and trust. Noticing what it activates in our body and in our mind and in our heart. I'm just going to chant the opening invocation. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vatitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right, then as you feel ready, we're going to come onto the hands and knees. So we'll start a little low to the ground today. So this will be a gentler practice today. My energy is a little low.
Mine too.
Lizzie's yawning, so. So as you start, if you're practicing these deeper breaths, yawning is a pretty normal reaction that most people have. Or you just may be tired. So now we'll come on to hands and knees. Take a moment here and just let the body move in any way you like, just to sort of feel what's happening, the hips, the pelvis, the back, the shoulders, the neck. So notice how your body feels as we move into this practice space. And then as you feel ready, bring the attention to the middle of your spine and feel like as you inhale, the middle of the spine lifts up, gently pulled up towards the ceiling, the head and hips drop. As you exhale, let the head lift, pelvis rotate, middle of the spine drops down, contracting along the back. Inhaling, reversing that. So continue moving with the flow of your own breath. Inhale one direction, exhale the other. Make sure you feel on the hands here that the weight is distributed nicely along the ball of the hands and the heels of the hands. If the wrist feels under stress, move the hands a little bit more forward. Otherwise, keep them somewhat under your shoulders. Arms are active and awake. And then we're going to start a bigger movement here. So as your back rounds and head drops, let the hips come to the heels, elbows to the floor, head down. And then as the middle of the back drops towards the floor, you lift the whole body up, arching the back as you come onto the hands and knees. And then reversing the curve of the spine as you come back. We're just doing that. As you move back, then you can adjust the knees. So if you feel like you need a little more space to press the body on the thighs, let the knees be a little wider apart so you make room for yourself. You can continue to breathe. Good. As you move back, let the elbows bend, the shoulders relax. Yeah, so you can let go of the tension in the shoulders, let go of the neck. Good. And just feel your body moving with the breath. And we're going to do just a little variation as you feel ready. We're going to take one knee about 5 centimeters, 5 inches or something like that, just a couple inches behind the knee or a couple centimeters back. So asymmetric knee position. Stay here if that feels good, if you feel a nice stretch. And whatever knee is back, so my left knee is further back, I'm going to take my left hand and bring it further forward, kind of emphasizing lengthening along the left side. So whichever knee is back, take the hand that's on the same side and bring it more forward. And you can stay here, maybe even feeling a little lengthening behind the shoulder, behind the hip. Breathing. If you feel any points that are tight or tense, see if you can imagine you can breathe into a tense spot. So take a deeper breath in, feel like you're kind of opening that tension from behind, from within your body. Good. And then we'll take the knees back in a symmetric. So even again, as you come back to the hands and knees, move the other knee back, bring the other hand forward, and come back, lengthen along the one side. Stay here breathing. And again, notice what you feel. Notice if this side feels different than the other side or very similar. And if you feel some tension or tightness, imagine you can breathe into that tightness and open it from the inside. And then come back up to the hands and knees again. And we're just going to do a little sequence here. Liz and Audrey, Lota, are your hands, wrists okay to do this, to hold the weight?
So far, so good.
Good, okay. So we're just going to add a little bit here. So you're going to stay on the hands and knees. Notice when you're on the hands and knees, the two sides of your pelvis are the same distance from the floor. So the same side as the distance of your thighs. So you want to keep the pelvis like this, and you're just going to stretch one foot out, keep the foot on the floor, or sorry, stretch one leg out, keep the foot on the floor. So your back is engaged. Notice maybe even a sensation in the core muscles, the lower belly, helping to support. If this is fine for the back and pelvis, then maybe lift the foot up, but keep the hips just like they are with 2 knees on the floor. And just extend that foot out behind you, noticing how your body is supporting the weight. And then if this is okay, you're going to shift the weight of the body to one of your hands. So whatever leg is extended, the weight of your body shifts to the hand on that side. And then you're going to take the opposite hand and reach it either out to the side or maybe forward. So your back looks the same way it did when your hands and knees on the floor, just now one hand is extended, one leg is extended. And then when your body is done and needs a break, just bring everything down. Rest for a minute in this childlike posture. And pause. And so when you're ready, we'll try that on the second side. This is a little bit of a sneaky practice. So we're just going to keep adding a little bit, and a little bit. So now you're going to extend the other leg. So the foot stays on the floor at first. So feeling how your body responds to this shift. So sometimes knocking yourself off balance can create a lot of strength. It's like a very good symbolic explanation of life. So as you feel ready, you can lift that foot up. Remember, keeping the hips steady, keeping the shoulders steady. So this is a lot of core work. So the core of the body, keeping it steady and straight. And if you like, you can shift the weight, open the opposite arm either out to the side or forward. Keep the back strong and steady. Keep the breath. Notice if there's a little violent shaking is okay. When your body needs a rest, bring everything down. Child's pose, pause. So one more time, come forward, hands and knees. So you're going to go back to the first side, straighten that leg. All right. And maybe now straighten the other leg. So you have sort of an elevated plank kind of thing happening here. And just stay here for about 6 breaths. If it's very hard, you can come back to that nice mantra. Peace and trust. Inhale, peace. Exhale, trust. If it's too much for the core or feels irritating, like you can maybe feel pelvic floor, low belly, keep one knee down and just do one leg at a time. Good. Resting whenever you need to rest. Excellent. Good. So if you did one side only, then we'll come over to the other side. We'll try the other side, just holding the posture. Otherwise, if you did both legs before, you can try one more round. Something like 6 breaths. If you're feeling strong and stable in the core, so I know, Loja, you've been doing a lot to strengthen the core, the low back, you can maybe even lift one foot off the floor. Just notice how that feels. That really gets into the inner thighs and low back. Resting as you need to rest. This is just a little exploration of a plank-like kind of posture. Good. Just doing some variation. Good, very good, Liz. See what happens if you lift one foot up just a few inches.
I keep sliding on the carpet, so.
There you go. Even that's like extra work if you're sliding on the carpet. Good.
Yeah.
So notice what that activates in your hips, pelvis, low belly. Good. Good. And then as you're ready to rest and recover, just come into this childlike posture. Stay here. And we're going to do one sort of variation on this as well. We're going to do a gentle version. So today is more gentle about feeling the alignment. So we're going to do a sort of a side balancing posture. So we'll come to the hands and knees again. And we're going to take the weight to one side, lift one hand up, and then maybe extending this leg out. So this is an adaptation. So this works the core muscles a little bit differently. So the full version of this posture is to extend both legs. This is a little bit stronger. With the knee down, we get the support so it doesn't overwork the body. And at the same time, we can reach the arm over and stretch the whole side of the body. The arm here and shoulder feel working. And after a few breaths, we'll come down. And you guys can just rotate to the other side. And you can reach the upper arm over again, lengthening this whole side. And come down. In whatever way you like, come up to standing. We'll do a little bit more with the shoulders, arms. Just put on a clock so I can see what time it is. There we go. I have a class directly after this, and I always think I'm going to do the same thing. And so far, I've never done the same class twice. That's why I started recording, because no two classes are ever the same. So feeling for a moment the feet on the floor. So standing on your feet one more time. Take a pause here for a moment. And then let's open the sides of the body a little bit more. So we started already on the floor. So let's take one hand either to the heart or maybe the low belly. It's a little more the center of the body. The other arm free. And as you inhale, we're going to reach the arm up. Exhale, bring it down. This whole side of the body is lifting, lengthening, engaging, but the center still stays in the center. So that extension comes to the shoulder joint, through the rib cage, as if you're lifting this side of the rib cage away from the pelvis. And this is also about attention. So naturally the whole rib cage works together, but you bring your attention really to this side. And then this time, let's stay here. Reaching, 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 reaching. So reaching that high shelf, exhale. This foot on the same side is really balanced and pushing towards the floor. Same time, the fingers lifting up. So you're creating sort of a stretching rack on yourself, one side, just using your own muscles, your own strength. Notice how the back responds. So if we have a sort of a lot of tension in the back, one side may disagree with it. So respect that side if there's some disagreement. Otherwise, come down. Just feel the two sides. So we just did like 4 rounds and staying 4 times. Notice if you feel a sensation in that side of the body just from those 4 quick breaths. And then we'll do the other side. Inhale up. Exhale down. You can hear my whole family arguing out the door. It's great. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more times. Inhale up. Emphasizing again this whole side of the body expanding and down. Last time. And down. Good. This time reach up. Stay here. Just a few breaths, reaching, reaching, reaching. Elevating the whole side of the body. Warming up the breathing muscles. Lifting the energy up. And then release. Back to the low belly. Pause a moment. And then we're going to just do 2 sides, but we'll do the hands a little differently. So inhale, we're going to lift the hands up. As you exhale, you're going to bring the hands in front of the body. 1 hand on the heart, 1 hand on your belly. These are just 2 energy channels that we work with sometimes. And then inhale, sweep up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. We'll do this version 1 more time. Pause here a moment. And then we're going to do this kind of movement, but we're going to take it all the way to the floor. So we're going to take the arms up again. As you go down, let the knees bend as much as you need to and bring the hands in front of the body. All the way down. Touch the ground, touch the earth. As you inhale, reach up. Almost like you can gather up the sky, the open space above, and you can bring that through your own body, all the way down to the earth. So do that, continue with your own breathing. So whatever rhythm works for your body, gather it up, bring it down, wash your body clean with the light from the sun, the clear blue sky. So this is the teaching of Mario Tenevado. So continue moving. I'll use some words while you're moving. This is a Buddhist teacher who visits us in Assisi, Italy. We talk about the life of Saint Francis. And he says that suffering occurs in the space between the earth and the sky. And when we can bring our attention to the heart, we can rest in the space of the heart. We are connecting the earth and sky, and there's no space for suffering. So that's sort of the meaning behind this movement. We bring the sky through our own body, all the way to meet the earth. And this kind of movement is through many, many traditions. A movement of humility and purification, a movement of healing. Reaching up and reaching down, very simple. It's been turned into a fitness movement, which is fine. But the intention is a little more rooted in peace in the heart. And eventually, if you like, you can keep the hands down, touching the floor, let the neck release, shoulders release. Let the belly and the legs come into contact. So don't keep the legs straight so you're hanging out in space. Let the body come together. All that you need to do here is lengthen the back of the body, and just holding the posture does that. Return to the breath. Deep breath in and deep breath out. As you feel ready, slowly come up. So you might need to come up halfway with the hands on the knees and pause here for a moment. If you might feel like you might be a little dizzy coming up too quickly. So take it slow and then come all the way up. Rest the hands and pause. Good. And then let's come back towards the floor. I'm going to shift the camera angle one more time. And this time we'll do a little bit of a different movement. So I want to see how this serves the body. So we can do this in a few different ways. So one way to do it, you can just watch if this is new, is to take the arms. I'm going to turn towards you a little bit. Take the arms out, and we're going to bring the body together, hands to the back, head down, come up, and back down. Okay, so see how that works. We can adapt this in different ways if it's not comfortable, but try that version first. So this, because of body proportions and shifting center of gravity, there might be a sensation that you're going to kip forward, but everybody looks pretty balanced when you do it. Good. Yeah, Lota's already doing a nice adaptation, keeping the hips down and just moving the upper body. Beautiful. So do that a few times. This is a transition for the neck and shoulders. As you come down, you can also maybe turn the head to one side, bring the side of the head towards the floor. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, turn to the other side. So today we're sort of integrating the little bit of work we do, the shoulder neck that we've been starting with the past few weeks. We're integrating a little bit of that movement sort of through the whole practice today, instead of isolating it. Good. Continue moving, breathing. Beautiful. And then slowly come back to standing on the hands and knees. And we're going to do something similar. I think we've done in here before, this twist. So let me show you first, because this is new to this group. So we're going to take one hand, bring it through, and we'll bring the shoulder to the floor like we've done before. Okay? So the first thing we can try, so this is fine, just staying like this is perfectly fine. If you want to try, it's a little bit of work on balance and some of the small stabilizing muscles. So the other hand, if you like, you can bring up, make sure the neck feels safe. If this feels okay, so my right arm is on the floor, my left hand is up. I'm going to stretch out my left leg and maybe bring my left leg, well, there's a wall there, but you can stretch your left leg out and hold the posture. So it's a little wobbly. You can just keep both knees on the floor if it feels too wobbly. Just play with that and see if you can find a space where there is enough stability that you can stay with the breath. Good, very nice. I call this posture the domino because it like one person goes and then the whole class goes, like a domino. It's a pretty safe posture to fall out of because you're falling in a way that's healthy for the neck. You're rolling onto the shoulder, the neck isn't under stress. So breathing here. Good. And you might notice if you come back to the starting position, both knees and both arms on the floor, I, for example, feel a lot more behind the shoulder blade on the lower arm if I keep everything low. So these variations just have to do with what you're trying to explore, okay? So for symmetry, we should probably do the other side. So whatever shoulder was down, bring it up. Again, checking yourself here. One arm up, can stay here if this is good. If you want to see about balancing, you can straighten the leg. Maybe that leg comes up. So these little things we're doing on the hands and knees, they're a little bit connecting with the core, with the small muscles as well in the pelvis and the hips. Good. Make sure you find the breath. Good. Come down and pause for a moment. When you complete, we'll sit on the heels, if that's okay for everybody's knees and ankles. You all have your camera angles really well today. I can see everybody great. Normally I don't have such a good view of everybody practicing. Good. So we'll do a couple things. We're just going to do a couple of little details. So curl the toes under here and just move yourself back towards the heels. So depending on what's going on with your feet, this can be very strong and there might not be a lot of movement. If the feet and ankles are pretty comfortable with that, you can even sit up on the heels. But again, your breath will tell you if you've gone too far. I learned also from our friend Mario that monks in Thailand do this for hours. It's part of their training. My teacher asked him if this position was okay for him. He said, oh, I used to do this for 4 hours. So a few minutes is okay, 4 hours is, So notice here, so I'm intentionally staying a little bit to let the body kind of settle. Yeah, take a break is if your body needs to take a break, or come out of it completely. So this is just to feel, I know in my feet, I have to stay a little bit before I start to feel things working. And notice if there's a heating sensation in the feet. I think, I'm not sure what this is, I'm not a medical doctor, Lotta may have more to say, but it feels to me like it can trigger inflammation if there's a little inflammation there. So when I've had a little bit of inflammation in the feet, that sort of heating sensation would come. And when the feet are sort of working in more harmony, that doesn't come so much. So come back, release the ankles. And then since we did feet, let's do wrists a little bit too. So you can rotate, so we'll do this a few different ways. You can just do one hand, rotate the hand facing backwards. If you have kind of hyper bendy elbows, see if you can hold that, restrict that hyper bendiness. And so you're keeping the arms straight and you're just bringing the body back a little bit. So you're doing a hyperflexion of the wrist. And this is like, a little bit goes a long way. You can do one side. If it's comfortable, you can do both sides. But just make sure you're not stressing the wrists here. Good. And again, just breathing. Let the shoulders release. Neck is relaxed. And then release again. Maybe some circles, yeah. And then just one last thing we'll do here. So you can stay sitting with the knees like this, or you can even try to sort of cross one foot and open the knees out a little bit. So this is like knee on top of knee, basically. So you can stay sitting on the one foot and just cross the leg over. If that's pretty easy for the hips, yeah. So you just take this knee and put it on top of that knee, and then see if you can bend the leg. Okay. There you go. Locha looks very comfortable. And then Audrey, if it's comfortable, that leg, the foot that you're sitting on, you can move it out as well. So you can maybe see Locha there and open it to the side. So this isn't for everybody's hips or knees. So simplest way is just to stay like this. Otherwise you can do whatever you like with the knees and hips. So we'll go in one way. And since we want to match this kind of craziness with the hips, we're gonna do some craziness with the arms as well. So whatever knee is on top, take that elbow. So my left knee is on top, my left elbow is on top of the right elbow. So left elbow on top of right, good. And then we're gonna bend the elbows. You're gonna take the left hand, wrap it around, and the right hand you're gonna turn towards the left side, so your thumb is pointing towards your nose. And then try as much as you can to bring the palms of the hands together. And notice what you feel. Okay. So the elbows can stay where they are. You can even explore lifting a little bit with the elbows or dropping the elbows down. You might notice we're saying hi to the shoulders now, upper back. Naturally, the hips are there if we're crossing the knees. Good. The head can be lifted up. The head can have the chin drop down. So we want to be gentle here. So Penny, who might be watching this later, we want to be really gentle, particularly if the tension in the neck can trigger migraines. So this can sort of run right up a nice tension line that can create some nice headaches. So we'd be very loving. Release it as you feel ready. And we're going to switch the sides. So just give yourself a moment to kind of untangle. And then you can switch the legs. So whatever knee was on the bottom is now on the top. And the legs open to the other feet, go to the other side. And then now the right elbow on top of the left. Bend that left arm, turn the thumb towards your nose, wrap the right arm around, palms touching. Imagine you're going to try to bring both thumbs towards your nose. Then you can play a little bit here. You can drop the chin maybe, or lift the elbows up, or keep them dropped down. Keep breathing. Again, be gentle, noticing. Release as you feel ready, and then we'll come on to the back. So give yourself a moment to unwind. And then come to lying on the back. So we're gonna move the hips and move the arms at the same time. So we're gonna do the little bridge kind of movement. So as you inhale, you're gonna lift the hips, sweep the arms out to the side over your head. Exhale, slide the hands along the floor as you lower the spine, one vertebra at a time. Inhale up. Exhale back. As you come down, if you like, you can roll the head to one side. Inhale, nose goes up towards the ceiling as you lift and sweep the arms. As you exhale, you can roll the head to the second side. So particularly if you were feeling a little tension in the neck with the last posture, let the head roll. That little bit of lengthening on one side of the neck is at the same spot where you may have triggered a bit of tension. So keep moving with the breath, inhaling up, exhaling down. And bring the arms down again, so we're going to do a slight variation here. So the arms will stay down on the floor now. And take the sole of one foot and press it against the thigh and the knee of the other leg. So the knee is sort of over your torso, so you're not out to the side. So that when we push the weight of the body down, it goes through this lower knee. So inhale, lift. Exhale, slowly lower down. So now one hip is working just a bit more than the other. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Release that side, and we'll just do 4 rounds on the other side. So reverse the feet. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Both feet to the floor. We'll do the gentle twisting, so let's take the feet a little bit wider than the hips, about as wide as the mat or so. And let the knees slowly start coming to the side. Head can roll to one side if that feels good, doesn't need to. And then when you feel ready, we're gonna get ready to come to a resting kind of position. So make sure that your body feels supported on the floor. If you need a little cushion under the neck or the head or under the knees, you can do that. Another option, since you're at home, like putting the feet up on the couch, can be a really nice support for the body. And before we rest in stillness, we're going to come back to the first technique of the practice. That sliding the tip of the thumb along the fingers with the mantra. So I'll let you do this in your own time. Just remind you, inhaling peace, exhaling trust. Just do about 3 times on each finger, and you don't have to keep track very strictly. Just feel peace and trust. You can do with both hands or just one hand. The body is relaxed, the mind feeling the sensations, peace for this moment, and trust what comes. Find your rhythm and hear your own voice. And as you complete, then just move into that quiet space. So keep your body still. Notice what you feel. And then give yourself the chance to rest deeply and still stay awake. Even if you're on the edge of sinking into a very, very quiet space. Om Bhurga Suvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. So this is a piece from the Gayatri mantra, a mantra that uses light as the symbol of that peace that pervades reality, that we have access to in most moments of our lives. And in those moments where the peace isn't possible, we take the actions we need to take, and we offer that peace to the memory to support the healing for the future. So begin to reawaken the breath and the body. Take a few breaths in consciously. Move the fingers, toes. And then slowly come back to sitting as you feel ready. And when you come to sitting, just come back to that space where we begin our practice, that quiet space of watching the body, watching the emotions, and watching the thoughts. And just be with yourself as you are. No need to change or fix. Take a moment, bring the palms of the hands together, touching, as if touching them together for the first time. Feel the warmth, feel the energy. And any capacity for peace you find in this moment, we offer it out. So the reminder that our practice is not just for us, at the very least for our relations, and at the very most for the whole world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Thank you. Enjoy your week.